Raise your glass, remember who you are, and join the Brotherhood.
In the morning with a clover in my hair and a feeling that there's something strange hiding everywhere. The old folks say that if you're quick and if you're mighty sly, you'll catch a little fellow with a twinkle in his eye. So I headed to the meadow and I headed to the glen with a net made out of gossamer and the strength of 20 men. But every time I thought I saw a glimmer of the gold, it turned into a pint of ale. So the story's told. I saw a tiny shadow by the barrel in the pub. He was wearing green suspenders and looking for some grub. I reached out with me heavy hand to grab him by the coat, but he vanished like the bubbles on a drifting wooden boat. He left a trail of shamrocks and a note upon the floor. It said, you're looking in the places that you looked at before. The gold is in the laughter and the magic's in the song, the place where all the rascals and the brothers all belong. Left, right, in the light, chasing ghosts through the night. Oh, we're hunting for the leprechaun on St. Patrick's Day, but the little devil's leading us a very far astray. With the yelling pipes a-screaming and the brothers in a run, we're having all the magic and we're having all the fun. So here's to every fellow who has tried to find the hoard and ended up dancing on a shaky wooden board. For the only way to catch him, as the ancient legends say, is to be the happiest of men on St. Patrick's holy day. So fill the glasses steady and let the chorus hit the sky. We'll find the pot of gold before the morning's looking by. The Celtic Pub Brotherhood is on the magic trail with a spirit that is stronger than a heavy coat of mail. Spin round, touch the ground, bestest luck that can be found. He's right behind you. The sun is rising early and the sky is looking bright. We're shaking off the shadows of the long and winter night. There's a polish on the counter and a polish on the glass as we wait for every brother and for every lad to pass. It's the morning of the emerald, it's the morning of the gold, the finest bloody story that was ever to be told. So put the clover on your jacket and the spirit in your soul. We're heading for the tavern where the happy rivers roll. From the valleys of the Shannon to the streets of New York town, there isn't any power that can keep a brother down. For today we're all together and today we're all as one. The brightest bit of magic since the history begun. With the Olin pipes a screaming and the fiddle in a run, we're having all the whiskey hero who has ever worn the leaf, and toast to every brother who has conquered every grief. For the spirit of the island is the spirit of the free, and that's exactly what a Celtic man is meant to be. We'll dance upon the tables, and we'll sing until we're hoarse, following the rhythm and following the course. The Celtic Pub Brotherhood is out and on the run, and the party, little brothers, has only just begun. A day! Our way! The light! Within the gray! All together now! Patrick's Day, and the world is turning bright. We're the masters of the morning and the kings of every night. With the Yolin pipes a-calling and the brotherhood in line, we're celebrating freedom with a measure of the wine. It's the day, the only way, the loudest in the fray. Changing and the old ways fade away, but they haven't seen the brothers on St. Patrick's holy day. With the spirit of the rebels and the wisdom of the seers, a legacy of laughter and a history of tears. From the shadows of the valleys to the bright and busy street, you can hear the heavy rhythm of 1,000 Irish feet. We're the sons of the survivors, we're the children of the light, and we're wearing all the emerald with a fierce and holy pride. It's a holiday of freedom, it's a festival of home. No matter where the destiny has forced us for to roam, the clover in the pocket and the spirit in the soul, the only kind of magic that can keep a brother whole. We don't bow to any tyrant and we don't fear any storm, for the fire of the ancestors is keeping us all warm. So raise the banner higher till it touches every cloud, for the Celtic Pub Brotherhood is standing tall and proud. One land, one blood, rising through the fire and flood. Oh, we're the heart of the emerald, the pride of the west. Put the spirit of the brotherhood to the bloody test. With the bagpipes screaming glory on St. Patrick's Day. We're the kings of the island and we're here for to stay. So toast to every hero who has stood before the gale, and toast to every brother who is telling us the tale. The story of the island is the story of the brave, from the cradle of the forest to the silence of the grave. We'll fill the pints with honor and we'll fill the air with song, the reason why our family is always coming strong. So Sláinte to the people and Sláinte to the saint. In a world of many colors, we're the only ones who paint. Although we ain't one broken, the words that we've spoken me load. But as I reached the dusty fork that leads to Murphy's door, me feet began to gallop like they'd never moved before. I tried to turn them to the left, I tried to turn them home, but they were headed for the place that serves the golden foam. I grabbed a passing lamppost just to try and make a stop, but the boots, they kept on dancing till I reached the lucky shop. I marched into the public house against me honest will, and the boots, they did a double shuffle right across the sill. I tried to sit me bottom down and have a glass of tea, but the boots, they kicked the table and they danced the jig for me. The barmaid laughed her head off as I spun around the floor. I was sweating like a worker while I headed for the door, but the boots, they liked the fiddle and they liked the banjo too, and they wouldn't leave the party till the morning sky was blue. Me legs are made of iron, my toes are made of lead. I'm dancing like a madman while I should be in me bed. Oh, it's the boots, the boots that love the beer. They're the reason that I'm standing and I'm shouting in your ear. They don't care for the missus and they don't care for the law. They're the fastest, wildest leather that the county ever saw. Hey! I tried to take them off my feet, but the laces held them tight. They danced me through the village in the middle of the night. They kicked the sergeant's bucket and they chased the neighbor's cat, and they did a grand finale on the taxman's Sunday hat. Now every time I put 'em on, I tell me darling wife, hey, it's not me fault I'm drinking, dear, I'm running for me life. Hey. So if you see me spinning by with a wild and crazy glare, just know it's just me naughty boots a taking me elsewhere. Shuffle to the left, hey, shuffle to the right, hey, shuffle to the moving to the early morning light. Shuffle to the left, hey, shuffle to the right, hey, keep the boots a moving to the early morning light. Hail to, away we go. The boots that love the beer. They're the reason that I'm standing and I'm shouting in your ear. They don't care for the missus and they don't care for the law. They're the fastest, wildest leather that the county ever saw. I can't stop, hey, I won't stop, hey, till I reach the final drop. Maguire, he bought a bow from a wizard in the west. He brought it to the rusty nail to put it to the test. He played a note so sharp and sweet, it shook the dusty beams and woke the sleepy village from its quiet Sunday dreams. Me pint began to wobble and me stool began to sway. The fireplace started dancing in a rimming kind of way. The shadows on the ceiling were a-jumping to the beat, and every single person there was lifted off their feet. The butcher's apron started for to wiggle and to spin. The baker did a somersault with flour on his chin. The tables did a tango and the chairs began to hop. Maguire was a-soaring and he couldn't make it stop. Old Murphy grabbed a broomstick and he waltzed across the floor. The cat was doing river dance beside the cellar door. Even the portraits on the wall were shaking in their frames, while everyone was shouting out their happy rebel names. The floor is bouncing, the walls are shaking. This is the party we've been making. Oh, it's the fiddle, the fiddle, the fiddle of Maguire. It's setting every spirit and every heart on fire. You can't stay still, you can't stay down, you have to join the spree. It's the wildest, fastest music in the whole of history. Hey, 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 hey. The village priest came rushing in to see what caused the noise. He saw the dancing furniture and all the rowdy boys. He tried to say a quiet prayer, but the fiddle caught his ear, and he's doing Irish polkas with a bucket full of beer. The window started rattling, the roof began to rise. There was magic in the melody and fire in our eyes. We'll be dancing till the mountains fall and oceans turn to sand, with the fastest bloody fiddle in the glory of the land. Spin 'em round, lift 'em high, dance until we touch the sky. Faster, faster, faster. Oh, it's the fiddle, the fiddle, the fiddle of Maguire. It's setting every spirit and every heart on fire. You can't stay still, you can't stay down, you have to join the spree. It's the wildest, fastest music in the whole of history. Make that loud, make us proud. The wildest party in the crowd. Hey, 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 go! Old Sean was 97 and his knees were out of gear. Old Billy was a rival for 100 bloody year. They sat in Murphy's corner with a scowl upon their face, until the fiddler started with a heavy rhythmic pace. I'll show you how it's done, said Sean, and stood up with a roar. He kicked his wooden walking stick across the dusty floor. He did a double shuffle and he did a triple spin, with a look of pure defiance on his beard and wrinkled chin. But Billy wasn't having it. He jumped upon a chair and swung his tattered jacket through the smoky tavern air. He landed with a thunder that began to shake the walls, and answered with a rhythm like 1,000 waterfalls. The youngsters stopped their drinking and they gathered in a ring to watch the two old lions do their wild and crazy thing. The barman started betting and the music started fly. The sparks began to flicker in each old man's angry eye. Left foot fire, right foot flame, neither one is acting tame. Oh, it's a battle of the ages on the floor of Murphy's bar. They're dancing like a lightning bolt and shining like a star, with the fiddle and the guitar and a bucket full of beer. The loudest, wildest contest that you've seen in many a year. Yow! They danced across the tables and they danced across the bar. They danced until they reached the moon and every single star. Their aches and pains were vanished and their troubles were forgot. They were hotter than the steam inside a boiling coffee pot. In the end they grabbed each other and they finished with a bow. I guess you're not so bad, said Billy, wiping off his brow. They sat back in the corner and they ordered up a round, the finest pair of dancers that the county ever found. Can you kick it? Yes. Can you flick it? Yes. Are you old? No. Are you bold? No. Show 'em how. On the floor of Murphy's bar, they're dancing like a lightning bolt and shining like a star, with the fiddle and the guitar and a bucket full of beer. The loudest, wildest contest that you've seen in many a year. Still got it, said they, never lost it, said they. The older the fiddle, the sweeter the corduroys inside a dusty chest. I thought I'd wear 'em to the pub to look me very best. But as I passed the fiddler's porch, me legs began to twitch, like I'd been bitten by a bee or cursed by an old witch. They did a kick, they did a flick, they did a double stride, while I was screaming, help me boys, and clinging to me pride. They dragged me through the market square and over stacks of hay, the fastest pair of trousers in the whole of Galway Bay. I tried to grab a lamppost just to try and make a stop, but the trousers did a somersault and a heavy metal hop. They danced me through the butcher shop and through the bakery, and knocked the local sergeant right into a cup of tea. Me belt was tight, me face was red, I couldn't catch me breath. I thought these bloody dancing pants would be the cause of death. But then they reached the golden harp and kicked the door aside, and did a grand entrance with a gallon-sized of pride. Me toes are on fire, me knees are in knots, I'm hitting the rhythm in all of the spots. So it's the pants, the pants that wouldn't stop. They'll dance you till you're dizzy and they'll dance you till you drop. With a zipper made of lightning and a button made of gold, they're the wildest pair of breeches that the world can ever hold. Hey! Now every time the music starts, I'm flying off my seat. I've got no say in where I go or how I move my feet. I've danced with every granny and I've danced with every dog. I've even danced with shadows in the middle of a fog. So if you see me spinning by like a frantic hurricane, just know it's not me spirit, boys, and it isn't me that's vain. It's just me magic trousers having one more rowdy spree. And if you wanna join the fun, then come and dance with me. To the left, hey! To the right, hey! Dance 'em through the middle of the night. Watch me go! Hey! 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 The pants that wouldn't stop. They'll dance you till you're dizzy and they'll dance you till you drop. With a zipper made of lightning and a button made of gold, they're the wildest pair of breeches that the world can ever hold. I'm a blur, I'm a light, I'm the fastest pants in sight. I'm a blur, I'm a light, I'm the fastest pants in sight. One false leave home. From the Dublin Star to fill up the cellars of every local bar, when a shadow appeared beneath the harbour wall, the biggest damn fish that was ever seen by all. He didn't want a worm and he didn't want to fly. He had a look of longing in his giant fishy eye. He jumped onto the pier with a splash and a roar and headed for the barrels by the warehouse door. He bit off the cork and he swallowed down the stout with a happy little wiggle of his scaly little snout. He finished off a barrel, then he finished off a 10. Then he looked around the harbour for to find some more again. The captain started shouting, he's drinking all the gold. beneath the kitchen sink. He mixed a secret herbal brew to give the lads a drink. He didn't use the barley malt, he used a clover leaf and a sprinkle of a magic dust to banish every grief. He poured a glass for Barnaby, who took a hearty sup, and suddenly his heavy boots began to bubble up. He didn't hit the floor again, he didn't hit the ground. He started swimming through the air and spinning round and round. The widow Mac was 92 and sitting in her chair. She took a sip and did a flip right through the smoky air. She kicked the ceiling rafters and she danced upon the light. I haven't felt this bouncy boy since 1898. The glasses started floating and the tables took to flight. The cat was chasing shadows on the roof in pure delight. It wasn't just the whiskey, no, it wasn't just the stout. It was the magic of the moon that Finian let out. Leave the earth, touch the sky. Every rebel's gonna fly. Oh, we're dancing on the ceiling and we're jumping over trees. We're riding on the rhythm of the salty western breeze. With a belly full of magic and a heart that's feeling light. The whole of Ireland's floating in the middle of the night. Hey! The local sergeant came to see what caused the big commotion, but he accidentally took a swig of Finian's blue potion. He's floating by the chimney pot and singing like a bird. The funniest police report that you have ever heard. So if you feel too heavy and the world is on your back, and everything you're looking at is turning into black, just find the copper kettle and the spirit in the glass, and watch the weary dusty world beneath your shadows pass. Yeah! 1 foot up, 2 feet up, don't you ever run, drop the ground. Off the ground. Oh, we're dancing on the ceiling and we're jumping over trees. We're riding on the rhythm of the salty western breeze. With a belly full of magic and a heart that's feeling light. The whole of Ireland's floating in the middle of the night.